Welcome to Out of Home Insider, the loudest voice in out of home. It's funny. A lot of people stop and ask me, they say, Tim, what's that mean? What does it mean to be the loudest voice in out of home? A lot of folks assume it has something to do with being louder than other industry trade coverage. It actually has nothing to do with anyone other than the community that is out of home. Whether you're a big operation, a small operation, have unique marketing insights, or a ton of out-of-home expertise, this is a platform to help the community grow, the community to learn. So I invite you to subscribe, follow, share. Please do all those things that help the community of out-of-home grow through this podcast, through the amazing guests that we have. It's all about democratization. And that's one of the reasons I'm most excited to be a part of the team at OneScreen.ai, where we're bringing buyers and sellers together to help brands win. If you want to learn more about what we're doing at OneScreen, visit onescreen.ai. Without further ado, let's go.
Welcome everybody to the Out of Home Insider Show, a podcast like no other, hosted by the one and only Tim Rowe. Get ready to have some knowledge dropped on you and to be entertained, because nothing's more valuable than food for your brain. So sit back, relax, we're about to dive in as the best industry podcast is about to begin.
Start and we just but the goal for this one will really be like 15 to 20 minutes, origin story, big picture stuff. Ryan and I did like a really good deep dive, and then I'm going to release them both as like a 2-part octopus series, which is cool because I've never done a 2-part series for anyone before. And
that's really cool. And is it a video or is it just pod?
Yeah, it'll be video as well. So everything goes on YouTube and then gets uploaded to another thing that distributes the podcast to all the different platforms.
Awesome.
It'll get chopped up. One of the big things that's changed since we spoke last was now I've got a video team. So we get a bunch of cool like teaser, like micro content stuff, and I'll send you all of that. It's yours to use however you want to use it.
Love it. Love it.
That's it, man.
That's awesome. Let's make it happen.
All right. So and I ask because I'm always so paranoid of name pronunciations. It's Cherian.
Cherian. Yep.
Cherian, correct. All right, cool. So soft intro. We'll just roll right into it. Cherian, thanks for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here, Tim. What's happening?
Oh, you know, man, it's exciting because as I'm looking out the window here, it's a beautiful day. I see lots of people walking around, which indicates to me that out of home is back. But for Octopus, out of home's been back for a little while now.
It's been back. Yeah. I mean, those of you who don't know, essentially what we created is an interactive advertising platform of digital out-of-home screens inside of Uber and Lyft vehicles. And Uber and Lyft riders are first movers, right? They are out of their house, out and about inside of a rideshare vehicle. And so they are willing and able to come to your restaurant or travel and so forth. And so, yes, we have seen a huge resurgence. Obviously, it was a big dip back, in 2020 and in March and April, but it's been month over month increase since then. So pumped about that.
It's awesome, man. I got it up here on the screen so that the video audience, you can take a look. But I mean, what you have is pretty unique, right? You're taking advantage of the gig economy, rideshare platforms, and you're putting screens in the back of rideshare, and like these are cool screens.
Yeah, I think what we're taking advantage is really of the fourth place for you to consume media. And just as things went from, television to desktop to mobile, we're very bullish on that next revolution will be motorized. And, you've got this captive setting, you've got unbelievable amounts of dwell time, and why not be able to, engage your audience, deliver sight, sound, and motion to not only a captive audience, Tim, but quite frankly, if you look at kind of the rideshare demographic, it's really that quintessential hard to reach consumer that we're getting while they're on the go. So yes, that's kind of what we're capitalizing on, and primarily because we're very bullish, right? There's going to be an autonomous world of vehicles. We're not there yet. You're not sleeping in your car.
Yeah.
But as you see Apple and Google and Amazon and Baidu and all these folks, they realize that this becomes a fourth place for people to get time to be productive, time to be entertained, and time to socialize. But we focus on the entertainment aspect there.
Right. And that's something that you do so well. It's not just ads in the back of an Uber or a Lyft. Like, these are games, they're interactive experiences, they're, exclusive content. Talk a little bit about some of the possibilities with what you're able to do on those screens.
Yeah, I mean, think of it as a blank canvas, and our goal is to really capture your attention and then maintain that attention throughout that rideshare journey. And we do that with a combination of games. Think of games as our content. That's our hook. That's what gets your attention. I don't know what it is, but people love playing trivia.
Right, it's like you go to the bar and the things on the bar, and you're playing, find the objects and whatnot. It's the same idea, just in a car.
Exactly. You're not going to be playing World of Warcraft, right? But you're going to play kind of like these short games that you can play in 60 to 90 seconds. We also give you prizes, right? You're playing games to win money and win prizes. So that definitely hooks you and gets your attention. And then because we have your attention and we have the vehicle location, we can deliver relevant, non-invasive, either branded games or 30-second ads to a captive audience. And so you nailed it, right? It's not just ads. We've actually found we get the best engagement with branded games. We'll get anywhere from 5 to 10% click-through rates on a branded game, right? And so our goal is really, we think the best form of advertising is kind of what we're able to offer on our branded games, where it's sold on a CPM, but the consumer, right? It's an ad, it's sold on a CPM, but the consumer thinks they're playing a game. Yeah. And they are, right? But it's actually an ad. So we find that to be really, non-invasive and impactful, which is what we try to do.
Unpack that for me before. This isn't your first startup. You're a startup guy. How did the idea come to be?
Oh, wow. Yeah, let's dive 8,888 meters, under the sea. And I'll tell you kind of the origin story. And we're very unique, right? Because this company was actually incubated within one of my other companies. And so many of our team have been working together for 5+ years. And so I'll turn back the clock a little bit and just kind of explain how this started. And it started with a mobile application, a dining app, right? While we actually created a mobile app that dynamically changed prices in restaurants based on day, time, and weather. So think like we felt that your salmon on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. when it's raining should not be the same as a Friday night at 6 when there's an hour wait.
Love that.
And so think Priceline for restaurants, right? And so, we built that business out, became the #1 dining app on iTunes, hundreds of thousands of active users. And Tim, throughout that journey, we realized that not all users were created equal. The best users, right, of our mobile app were someone that was between 25 to 35, lived in a city, dined out 2 to 3 times a week, had a beer on a Tuesday, right? That was our consumer that we needed to get in front of. And it turns out that is the exact same consumer inside of an Uber and Lyft vehicle.
How about that?
And so it was a side project where we would essentially, we started putting, tablets inside of Uber and Lyft vehicles, and it would play, ads for our own company. And in between the ads was the games, right? And that's kind of how the origin started. It started with a true need for our own brand to get users and acquisition. It worked ridiculously well. And we started small. We're like, hey, let's see if we can, put on a couple local restaurants and some core power yoga studios and some scooter companies. And that worked great. And then we're like, wait a second, let's go to Madison Avenue. let's see what the ad agencies think about this. And, we were signing Fortune 50 brands who loved the format, the setting, and the audience. And so long-winded way of kind of explaining our origins, but I did want to kind of just tell you this didn't start one day with an aha. It started out of a true need to reach the right person in the right setting and acquire customers.
Which seemingly really like the best ideas do, right? It's based out of a real need to solve a problem. And you've done that. And the technology is really interesting in that you can see where that car is on a map and take advantage of contextual components that are going on around the vehicle itself, right? And really taking advantage of the entire environment. How are brands using Octopus as part of the mix in 2021? Has that changed at all versus years past? What are you seeing?
Yeah, let me just go back to one of the points that you made, right? In order for us to capture the rider's attention and get them to really lean in and engage, it's really important to have the UX be relevant based on day, time, even weather, right, and location. And so if you get into an Uber or Lyft vehicle with Octopus, it is a much different experience on a Wednesday at 6 a.m. in the financial district than it is on a Friday night at 11 p.m. in Times Square. And so we are able to curate a experience based on not only, the time of day, the location of the vehicle, what's the weather like, but when you do that, you get higher click through and engagement, which is the name of the game in our perspective, from our perspective. And brands love this, right? We have brands that are on, activating mini games where folks are giving out a chance to win, a free lottery ticket, or a chance to win ice cream for a year, or win a free Cybertruck, right? And so the brands are really being cool about offering something. If someone is going to engage, let's make sure that we get that bottom funnel. So put in your phone number, first party opt-in, value exchange. Do you want free ice cream for a year? If so, put in your phone number. And this is the key, right? It's really that opt-in. And that's what brands really love, is that it's a blank canvas. They can do baseball games where you're tapping to swing. You can do claw games where you're looking to, grab something. You can do photo hunt, trivia. We've really, done it all. It is truly a blank canvas in a new format.
So what are like the expansion plans? Obviously, you're available on some of the DSPs, and actually we're going to be doing a campaign with y'all in the fall with OneScreen and one of our brands and advertisers. And initially we were looking inside of Vistar, we saw Octopus, and we were like, oh my gosh, like this makes a ton of sense. Mm-hmm. But the things that we're talking about here aren't necessarily just displayed inside the DSP. What's the best way for brands, for advertisers, for agencies to be working with Octopus?
Yeah, look, I mean, people want to buy something easily, and we provide that for them, right? So if you want to, buy this programmatically through PMPs, through pipes, that's no problem, right? We are unique in the sense that, we are on Vistar, where you can buy this in the digital out of home, but we're also video with sight, sound, and motion. And so we are also integrated with folks like DV360 on GAM, and soon to be folks like Talaria and Freewheel and so forth. So we definitely want to make it easy. That said, we also want to make your ad unit impactful. And to make it really truly pull out all the bells and whistles, it's really contacting us directly. And that's where we can do either a branded game or a really unique activation that has both click-through rates, phone number capture, email opt-in, and gets that both top of funnel all the way down to bottom funnel. And quite frankly, some of the SSPs just don't have that ability, right? You can't run a programmatic game with interactivity and lead gen. And so we do those in direct deals with our brands.
Makes sense. The format is so fun. It's so engaging. I want to get in the back of an Uber and take a ride home just to play a game and maybe win a chicken sandwich or something like that. Have you considered moving to other types of screens, other formats? Is this still just in its infancy? Where do you see the most growth coming from over the next 18 to 24 months?
Yeah, two things. One, we have run the Find the Chicken Sandwich game, which kills it, gets 5% plus click-through rate and 16% convert. I mean, it was unbelievable, right? And guess what? It was running during a time where there was chicken wars going on, right? On the chicken sandwiches, so relevance, right? But one thing I will tell you, just to your previous question a second ago, regarding markets and scale, like, this is scaling out, right? We're shipping out 2,000 plus screens a month.
Wow.
And, we just launched 21 markets 2 weeks ago, all at the same time in tandem. So all those markets went live at once. We had the driver demand. We've got 100,000 plus drivers in the pipeline on applications. So we just started opening it up because we saw the rebound coming, right, from folks getting back out in this post-COVID world. And so, it is something that, we certainly take a lot of pride in, is that not only the format is it unique, but you have to have scale. And, you can have this unbelievable setting, you can have this unbelievable audience, right? You can have all these features of interactivity and lead capture. And so, but if you don't have scale, it doesn't really matter. And so we're really pumped to, kind of unlock the nationwide rollout now. So we're available in just under all the top 45 DMAs. And we're covering, literally what advertisers want. They want national campaigns, and we're able to rock and roll with them. That's or swim with them, I should say. So, but yeah, sorry, hopefully I answered your question, but just wanted to go back to kind of that that scale question, right? Because it's really about the format and this premium video, but being able to do that at scale is what the brands want.
And we're going to deep dive that with Ryan in part 2 of this conversation. So we'll let you talk about the fun stuff here. Are you a podcast guy? Are you a reader? Where do you go for motivation, inspiration, education? What are some good resources to get inside the Mind Cherry?
Yeah, I'm actually an avid YouTube guy. I think there's a running joke in our company, right? I pay for the subscription for non-ads, which is kind of ironic, but and even coming from the ad industry, I kind of feel like I'm cheating, right, for not paying to bypass the ads. That said, there is an unlock feature with YouTube where you can still use your device while it is running in the background. The only way to get there is to pay monthly. But I'm a huge fan on just, being able to digest things via video and audio. And I love doing it in a time where I'm not at my desk. And so if I'm at the gym or if I'm on a run, and usually, that combination of YouTube to learn something, I try to learn something new every single day. And so to go on a run or go work out and just, consume an hour of content I didn't know about before, always educational, right? Industry related or educational. And I love that you can pick up your phone in the middle of a run and see the bell curve if they're talking about it, right? And on YouTube, whereas audio only, you can't get the visual behind it as well.
Yeah, no, I am with you there. So speaking about education, because out of home is an industry that I think one of our biggest challenges is education. What's something that you wish existed for out of home that would make it better just for everyone, grow the pie?
Honestly, transparency, right? I think that one of the biggest challenges with our industry is that, there's a lot of fly by night, white noise out there. And so someone, creates a website, puts, 2 or 3 screens out there, but their public facing brand makes it seem like there's hundreds of screens and you can buy this self-serve and all. And it's like, what, people need to really just do an audit and say, like, how many screens are out there? What is the format? What are the sections? And that's something that we're going to be looking into doing, is really just a state of the mobility and where, who are the players? What is the format? Is it one to many? Is it one to few? How can you buy it? And what are the real numbers? And so I think one thing I wish was a little bit better in our industry is just truth and transparency, because it makes every other publisher's job harder when talking to an agency that's been burned in the past. And so it's for the greater good of all if we can get to the bottom of just, here's open transparency on what this network of screens looks like. So
and this is your invitation to pitch. It's something that Octopus does really well, which is shows advertisers, here's exactly what you're getting right now in this moment. And you use some pretty slick technology to do that. Maybe just add a little bit of color to that and how Octopus is different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we give our brands a dashboard, and it's super transparent, right? And most folks don't get this transparent because it might not be working, right? But if you have something that's working and you can get all of the data from top of funnel to bottom, you might as well visualize it. So our brands can literally click on live, and they see a live map of every moving vehicle right now in real time that's showing where their ad is playing. They could zoom in and see that. They can see their impressions delivered by day, right? They can see it by time, by week. They can see engagement in real time, right? How many times did the ad play? How many people clicked and engaged with the ad? Did they put in their phone number, right? Where were they? Timestamps and so forth. So for us, it's really about visualizing the funnel, right? Which is on the buy side, that is what they're looking at. They're looking at a funnel as well, right? We don't feel all impressions are created equal. And, we want to make sure that when you get an impression from Octopus, you realize that, look, sight, sound, motion, captive audience, verified impression, Nielsen SDK, right? Like, and being able to not only get an impression, but to get a click-through rate, which is typically unheard of in out of home, and not to get a click-through rate, but to actually have phone number email capture with opt-in, which is typically unheard of in out of home. And so because we have those things, we want to let our brands and agency partners have real-time access to it. And so it's definitely something that we're constantly innovating upon. And as we add new things, our brands get, kind of like when you get a software update on your Tesla or iOS, it's like our dashboard is an update and it's new features happening all the time. So certainly, we practice what we preach, right? We basically feel like there should be transparency and trust in the industry. And so we literally lift up the hood and then the hood under the hood and the hood under the hood and under the hood. And you can literally see exactly what is happening with your campaign in real time at all times.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's a great reason to be subscribed. This is something I have to start doing more of, like in the podcast, instead of waiting till the end, is make sure to subscribe so that you know about things like Octopus, right? Like before we all got introduced, I didn't know that this existed. And I would venture to guess that there's a lot of folks in our industry that don't know Octopus exists. With the return of events, in-person events and conferences and all of those sorts of things, obviously the use of rideshare goes up and around those. It's a great opportunity to be able to take advantage of that captive audience.
It is. And I think the best validation on knowing if it's working and if you're out there is, do people see it? And over 50% of our clients on our platform were inbound inquiries, right?
Wow.
50%, right? And that has been like, it's
incredible.
Actually, so like they were in a vehicle, saw it, engaged with it, enjoyed it. We put smiles on their faces, and then they literally filled out a HubSpot form that said, hey, how do I get my brand on here? And so that by itself just shows that, you were able to delight someone. They saw the value. They have great brand recall. They're able to spit out what they saw and so forth. And, I think there is a, network effect that occurs as we get into more and more of these markets. But our goal is really to delight those riders, make sure they're ridiculously happy, make sure the drivers are ridiculously happy, and then only connect the brands. And right now we're in turbo growth mode because we've kind of checked all the boxes. The riders, drivers, and brands are really liking it.
Charian, how do folks get in touch with Octopus? How do they follow you? Give us your latitude and longitude.
Yeah, for sure. So, obviously, contact at playoctopus.com. Pretty active on LinkedIn as well. So please LinkedIn me or send me a DM there. But, don't take my enthusiasm the wrong way. We've built a good foundation. We've got a long way to go, but there's some really promising early signs on this new format, and we're excited to be part of the out of home community because we're not in your living room, we're not on your mobile device, but we do have some really cool bells and whistles that we're bringing to the industry that we'd love to get louder about.
Well, definitely. We're excited to have you. I'm really excited to release this first ever 2-part episode. We'll go into the deep dive with Ryan on the platform and talk more about that in part 2. Charian, thanks so much for being here.
Part 2, you got to have an 8-part. We're fans of 8s over here. So
that's true. We're going to just need to keep going. We'll do it. We're looking forward to it.
Definitely. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you having us on, and looking forward to staying in touch.
Absolutely. If you found this to be helpful, please share it with somebody else who could benefit. As always, make sure to click that subscribe button down there in the corner, and we'll see you all next time.
Quarter century, I finally came to my senses. I finally got my hand up on the tinted Benz, kid. I see the world clear through my tinted lenses. With the dream and the drive, the possibilities endless. Now print that, send this all the way to Tokyo. Take a trip down south, down to Mexico.